It is getting heated out there. I don't have to tell you guys that. Joining us right now is candidate Carl DeMaio. Oh my goodness, do we want to hug a hairstylist these days? We miss you guys. The violence and destruction that happened Saturday, the mayor says the city was totally unprepared for. They told people to get away. What was it that led to them actually needing to deploy that tear gas? It had to be more than just a peaceful protest. You were born and raised in La Mesa. I can only imagine what that felt like to watch that spiral totally out of control Saturday night. Gas shortage crisis. Gas stations around the state running out. The 911 operator saves the day for a bride-to-be who had her wedding dress stolen on her wedding day. So her husband had to help her climb through the dark and get out the back door. And if you see how bad it is out here, it looks worse inside. You have to really up your game out here with all these athletes, even some people from Hollywood you might recognize. The costumes, the music, the dancing. Guys, the show is over. I'm out here on the ballroom floor right now, and it is still buzzing in here. These new images just came into the Breaking News Center. Police say that is one of 5 suspects who broke into a house. There's a lot of talk, debate, maybe even some confusion about where you stand on immigration. How long are the National Guard troops going to be there? Are you concerned that violence could erupt there again? Like an amazing piece of jewelry right here. But this is a knight's hand. I'm out here, a gauntlet. I'm going to throw down the gauntlet today. From great pets to something you never want as a pet. It's a gaboon viper, and it's believed to be lurking in this apartment complex in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. We drove around to Cameron Village. Typically, this would be so packed on a Saturday. Of course, you can't even get a parking space. But right now, pretty empty. Tournament time is officially upon us. You may not fill out a bracket, but chances are someone you know does. It's all in the grip, so to speak. Oh my gosh, I think I'm getting some milk. The poor goat. We're learning more about the Virginia police officer shot and killed over the weekend on her first day on the job. The Senate Intelligence Committee released the transcript of Comey's testimony at the former FBI director's request. There's a lot of nuggets in this. We're going to walk you through it here. The annual Coarse Gold Tarantula Festival is set to take place the last weekend of October and features tarantula races. That sounds creepy. Along with the hairiest leg contest for both men and women. So I saw the coach Sunday minding my own business. He's really tall. I was minding everybody's business.
All right, there you go.
Fine. You went to the neighborhood. Did somebody see something? In a rare move, the Senate sent the spending measure back to the House without even considering its content. That underscores the problem that we're seeing in a lot of places. Look, you're driving around. It looks nice outside. It's dry. You take a turn. They've tried to block the road like you saw there because this water is going to keep rising. Now to a look at stories making headlines across the state, including a social worker charged in a shocking child abuse case.
Who wants to get out of town and escape this never-ending winter weather?
Yes. We just got off the phone with the National Weather Service and learned yesterday's storm damage in Cumberland County was the result of straight-line winds.
Anytime you can get Anna Laurel singing on the newscast, it's a good newscast.
Cats crying. It is a hubbub of activity out here. Just now we've got some people coming and donating more supplies, more food, more water, more cleaning supplies. And it's just incredible. We've been seeing this all day long. Right now here on Fayetteville Street, we are on truck number 3. Sarah Palin just finished speaking. Of course, she was up here at the podium and did a question and answer time with KMJ's Ray Appleton. My photographer, Ryan Brooks, and I were standing there. She looked over and saw us, put on a little lip gloss, and came right over and spoke with us, bypassing her security, told them to wait a second. She can tell us just what is going on and what her feelings are. Okay, we're just south of downtown Phoenix, and over 1,000 inmates sleep under these tents. It's the first week of November, and the high today is it's going to be about 85 degrees, but in the summer, the temperatures under these tents soar to over 140 degrees. Sarah says when she got here and animal control was closed, she had to put all the cats in one carrier. You can take a picture, video, almost anywhere. You know how busy it gets out in front of the Eyewitness News Center. People are sitting in these benches, hanging out, but even here, you can see that the pollen is collecting. There was a police officer, hospital staff, and a county CPS worker. But also, these court documents show that CPS worker never mentioned Bertha's violent history. And he's also a big sports fan. Of course, being from UNC, he's always cheering for the Tar Heels, but he's also a big Hurricanes fan, Carolina Hurricanes. He went to his first game in 2001 and just fell in love with it. I'm up on the rooftop of Martini Ranch, and this isn't just a typical Saturday night in downtown Scottsdale. You can feel the excitement in the air, the streets lined with limousines. Saturday Night Fever is alive and well. And he seems like a really nice guy, was he? Faye, when he walked in the door, the crowd, the ripple effect, and it almost got quiet, and everybody's trying to get a look, and it was awesome. He was so nice. You feel like you know him ever since Welcome Back, Cotter. What can you say? Check out the house here behind me. You can see the tree crashed into the very center of the ceiling, the rooftop. Now, the couple that lives here that was inside, the woman is confined to a wheelchair. She can barely walk, but look at the ramp for her to be able to come outside. The tree was on top of it, so her husband had to help her climb through the dark and get out the back door. And if you see how bad it is out here, it looks worse inside.
Because I don't know what it feels like being homeless. And this is what I feel, homeless. And I'm angry.
We met Shauna Reed in a Raleigh motel room because this is what's left of her house.
So I was in the bedroom. That's the only reason that we're sitting here talking.
Last night's storm blew down 2 trees that crashed onto Reed's house.
The winds was up. The winds were high.
Her husband was home with her.
It sounded like a thud, and then after the thump, a big slam, and the ceiling caved in.
They say they saw a flash when the power line snapped.
Everything went black. Everything went black.
Shauna is in a wheelchair with the roof collapsed and the ceiling now covering the floor. They were trapped.
I could see to him, my wife was over here in this bedroom. She was calling me. She had the candle. I had to go get some matches. We lit the candle. I came back out, went back over here, and I looked up, and that's what I saw. But when I got in the hallway, that was a tree.
Pitch black with rain coming in. Curtis helped his wife maneuver through the rubble. Emergency crews helped them out.
I was, like I said, I was kind of shocked and I was stunned because, I really wasn't thinking about all I was trying to do was trying to find my way out.
Crews are starting to pick up the limbs out here, but the city has deemed this building unsafe, not livable. That's what's happening right now on Lee Street in downtown Raleigh. Anna Laurel, Eyewitness News. Remember this, local mom? This is the video that went viral of her gender reveal party. Her reaction is priceless when she finds out she's finally having a girl after 6 boys. The baby girl is now here and home from the hospital, so I went to see how this brood of boys is doing with sweet baby sister.
Oh,
These older brothers love their little sister, Ruby Jane.
I love having a sister. I was scared in the beginning.
Scared because up until now, it was all boys.
Let's wrestle! Because I need to practice for when I'm wrestling a bear.
A family of 6 boys, in fact, ages 13 to 2.
I'm gonna turn on this light. It's hanging.
And now among all the commotion is a baby in a dress and pink bows.
She is a little more
She is so pretty.
delicate than
This was Cher Lair's reaction when she found out she was finally having a girl. That was nearly 6 months ago. Today, Lair is surprisingly calm with her brood of boys around her and her baby girl in her arms.
I don't have enough hands and eyes to see all the terror and damage that they're causing, but as much as you love your one, you love your second and you love your third, and it's like the Grinch, like his heart grew 3 sizes that day. It's just your capacity to love, I think, grows.
While we were there was a stampede for cookies.
I got cookie.
And plenty of cries, yelps, and screams. But Ruby Jane remains peaceful with the mayhem all around her.
She's smiling a little bit.
How do you get quiet to let her sleep?
We don't. And we don't whisper, we don't tiptoe, we don't try.
And Cher wouldn't have it any other way.
It's crazy. I don't shower every day. There's that. But I wouldn't give up. I think about like our 6th and our 5th, like if I had stopped and there was no Knox or there was no Shepherd, what we would be missing.
That house is full of joy, I tell you what. The boys were all over the place in our video, but Cher told me 98% of the time, honestly, they're outside. And she says she gets a lot of help from her sweet husband. I asked her if we could come back in a year to check in on them because honestly we had so much fun. She said, of course, but so far things are still a little bit of a blur. Up at the Target behind Triangle Town Center is where this all went down. Now this is the picture, a Target employee with a teenager. And the story behind it is so touching, people. This picture has 35,000 likes in just 12 hours. Audrey Mark is a loyal Target shopper, but yesterday she noticed something different.
I see this young teenager kind of being hovered, by this Target employee. So as a mom of 3 teens, I automatically go to what'd he do?
She noticed the employee fixing the teen's tie, and because it seemed unusual, she snapped a picture.
I hear him peppering him with all this great advice on interview skills and handshakes.
It started like any other day at this Northeast Raleigh Target, and Kathy Scott saw a teenage customer looking for something.
I asked him if he needed help, and he told me he was looking for clip-on ties. And so we didn't have any.
So she went to her coworkers.
And Kathy says, can you tie a tie? And I said, sure.
So the teen bought a tie and brought it to Dennis.
And we took the wrapping off of it, and I tied it on my neck and fit it over his head, and I adjusted it and tightened it, buttoned all of his collar buttons, and he was set to go.
But the Target team did more than fix his tie. They prepped him for an interview.
Make sure you look him in the eye, and I'm saying make sure you give him a stern handshake, and she showed him, and he tucked his shirt in and tied his shoes.
He was saying, yes, ma'am. And he just soaking it all in.
And that's when Mark took the picture.
It was a very quiet, simple moment, but it was very profound, honestly.
Kindness from strangers in a super Target.
The kid goes to leave, and all these Target employees start screaming, bye, good luck, come back and tell us how it went.
We were just here to help a young man get a job and, forward his future.
And as everyone cheered, Dennis was proud.
I got so emotional, I got all teary.
Kathy cried. It touched your heart.
It still does.
Now today, the Target team went to a nearby Chick-fil-A and checked in with the manager to see how the interview went. They don't know who the kid is, but the manager said he'll let him know by the end of the week if he got the job, and the Target employees told him what a nice kid